morning from the Tropic of Ottawa here in Constance Bay in Canada. September 23, 2 days after the autumn solstice. You can see it's a blustery autumn morning. Went down to 6 degrees last night. That's 6 degrees Celsius, which is 42 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you can see, we're going to a high of just 13 degrees today. 13 degrees is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And tonight we're going for a low of 4 degrees, which is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can see the temperatures here in Ottawa are starting to cool down. Winter's approaching, and so it's time to start preparing our plants for the winter. But anyways, we've got a nice sunrise today, and we'll take you for a quick tour of the garden. We'll start off with the pygmy date palm, which is still showing signs of a bit of stress from moving into the sun too quickly in the spring. But it did well for the summer. You can see this plant is in a pot. It will be brought in to endure the winter indoors, and then brought back out again next spring. Hopefully next spring I can resist the temptation to bring it to the sun too quickly. Sorry, the sunrise is so striking right now. I'll have to give you one more view of it out over the river. And that's for those of you who don't live in Ottawa. It's the Ottawa River. We're in Constance Bay here, which is zone 4B, 5A, somewhere around there. Okay, so moving along, behind my pygmy date palm, I have my Trachycarpus fortunei, which I purchased in the spring and planted in the ground. On the Zone Pushers page on Facebook, someone commented that it's in a cage, but that's we got a new puppy this year and he was ripping it apart, the trunk apart, the fibers. So that plant will obviously stay in the ground this winter and will be put into a box and heated with Christmas lights. In the next garden at the back of the house, I have my giant bird of paradise, Strelitzia nicolai, and it's 12 to 14 feet tall this year. It's doing really well. And this one is in a pot buried in the ground, and so it will be coming in for the winter. So part of the preparation will be possibly repotting it as it's growing a little big for the pot. They like to be a little bit pot bound, but I don't know, it's kind of busting out of this pot, so I'll probably have to put it in a bigger pot. And over on this side of the garden is my smaller bird of paradise, and it will also be brought in for the winter. Heading past this garden is my first Musa or banana plant. And my banana plants, although they look really healthy and they're doing well, they didn't grow as much as I was hoping to. Last year, the banana plants were over the roof of the shed. This year, they're just approaching the height of the roof, so didn't grow as quickly as I wanted them to, but they're very healthy, looking good. So one of those plants I'm going to leave in the ground, the one that I just looked at, and cover it with a box of Christmas lights. And this one I'll be digging up, and one putting in a pot, one pup will be putting in a pot, and the rest will be trying dry root in the garage. So different ways of overwintering, because last year the mulch was not successful. Over here are some 1-year-old Mexican fan palms and a Trachycarpus fortunei. They're in pots, so obviously they'll be coming in for the winter. And then here's my supposed orange bird of paradise, or Strelitzia reginei. Bought it locally at a local shop. I'm going to try and get some good shots of it because I've been told by the green dragon that it's actually a peace lily. So if you can identify it, that'd be great. But you can see it's got sunburn, which the peace lily is much more susceptible to than the bird of paradise is. In the next garden are my 3 largest Mexican fan palms, or Washingtonia robustus. This one is in a pot in the ground. It will be brought in for the winter. But it's doing really well. It's actually, for some reason, doing better than the other one I purchased at the same time, which is in the ground. Here's my one that was in the ground last year and overwintered in the box with the Christmas lights. And once again, we'll be going through the same thing. And an interesting note, it didn't grow a lot in height, which is actually a good thing for me because it will last longer. You can see the trunk is getting very thick though. But yeah, it didn't grow a lot in height, and that means I'll be able to keep it longer with the protection I do. Next to it is my Adam's needle yucca, and it doesn't get any winter protection at all. It's easily hardy in this area. Near it is my yucca gigante, which is in a pot and will obviously be coming in for the winter. This one grew from a branch that popped off the mother plant and rooted itself in the garden. Down below I've got a pineapple plant and a little Majesty Palm. The Majesty's not doing great, but doing okay. Another pineapple plant that will be coming in obviously for the winter, and here's my last large my Washingtonia robusta planted in the ground, and it will obviously be getting winter protection, a box with Christmas lights and a thermal cube, and hopefully will do well over the winter. And it should. The other one that I did last year worked really well. So you can see it looks really healthy. The fawns are nice and green, but it didn't grow as much as the one that's planted in the pot, and which surprised me. At the end of the garden here is the older yucca that the other one sprung from. Over here I've got a Dracania spike, which has grown about a 3-4 foot trunk after about 5 years. It will also be wintered indoors. I've got a little Majesty Palm here, and you can see both of them have a lot of wave petunias in with them. And here's my nursery for my Mexican fan palms and Trachycarpus fortunei, and some younger ones here. These ones are from this year's seed, and there's one from last year. Then over the fence, have a hibiscus on this side and a Majesty Palm, and the same thing on the other side. A Majesty Palm down below and hibiscus above, and you can see the daylilies have all been cut back. My wife has been busy with that this week. You can see the water's coming in or coming up at the bay here. So winter is approaching, and we'll have a look at the last garden in the yard, and you can see it's a lot of wave petunias. And I've got a pineapple plant back there in the ground. It will be taken out and sold or die, one or the other. And then we have a tall castor bean plant, which was planted from seed this year, which is behind our outdoor speaker box. And rose bushes, a lot of wave petunias. They're starting to die out now, but you can see they were, just a mass of them. And here's a Wichelia plant, which is still blooming, which is kind of incredible in this area anyways. Another one that's got still some blooms. Then we're down to my last few Mexican fan palms, one in a pot here. And then if we look over here, I've got one in the ground, and so that one will need winter protection as well. The ones in the pots obviously will be coming in. There's a Trachycarpus fortunei, and finally the last Mexican fan palm in this garden, and again it's in a pot. And here's my two Majesty palms. They're quite large. I've had them, I think, for this my second or third year with them in pots. Obviously they'll be going in for the winter. And again, with these plants, I'll have to resist the temptation to bring them out too quickly. As you can see, they received some sun damage early in the spring. Over here I've got a little hibiscus plant, which I grew from a cutting, took it off last year. And so it's about maybe 2 feet high right now. Got some blooms on it. Outside the gate is my last Musa baju, or Japanese banana plant. Anyways, that's about it for today. My next video will be actually preparing the plants for winter, boxing them, and so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.